Yeah.
I drunk texted
I'm way too-
Seinfeld.
Oh,
Once.
no way.
Yeah, it's like the biggest regret of my life.
Our friend Mike, who's helping us today, just got a haircut.
Hey, Mikey.
He looks sexy.
Yeah,
Looks
you're
great.
a hot guy.
I want to. He's a good-looking dude.
He's 6'12". He's
He's got hair.
black dick, a big beard. Yeah, you look like a Game of Throner.
He's who I think I look like, and then I'm just like a melted version of Mike Albany.
You're the candle version
Like
of Mike Albany.
The pussy candle.
If you put Albany's in a microwave, it would just turn into me. In
right.
30
I
seconds.
talked about this once. One time, a comment on one of my videos was that I was the Wish version of Tom Segura. That's right. It's really funny.
And he's not even hot.
No,
So
no,
you're
no.
already- you're
It's
double
I think
fucked.
I think it's everything. But but the thing about it is the weird part about it, I didn't know. This is how bad you're getting insulted. Well, I didn't know what Wish was at the time, so I had to look up what Wish was. So you almost get double insulted.
Yeah.
You almost get a thing where you're like, oh, I know this isn't good, but now I have to find out what the app Wish is, and I googled it, and I was like,
Wait, what is
mother-
Wish?
It's like the no frills version. Like you have a Captain Crunch, and then you have a box that says cereal on it. It's like because Wish you get all this designer stuff, designer in
Right.
quotes,
like the
for
bag cereal version of Tom Segura.
exactly.
Oh, I
Bag
like
cereal
Wish.
version. Yeah.
'Cause I drank Czech soda, which didn't even. I think it's a New Orleans thing, but we didn't want to buy Coke, so my parents bought Czech. So that's the Wish soda.
They probably had a version of that because we had CNC.
Oh,
Did you guys
Music
have
Factory.
that? Yeah.
No, we didn't have CNC.
We had Fago.
I know
You ever hear-
Fago.
yeah,
ICP.
that was-
That's like the,
that-
that's the insane clown
Yeah.
posse
Yeah.
soda.
My dad was one of those people that convinced himself that he liked Fago better because of the taste, but it was bullshit.
They always do that.
Yeah, it was like 50 cents for a 3-liter.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
It's like the guy who lives far away, and he's like, "I can get door to door to your house in 48 minutes." You're like, "No, you can't. That's at 2 a.m. on a Thursday morning."
That's every comedian that lives in Jersey City.
Everyone,
Yeah.
door to door, make it here. What do you take a subway ride? That takes like 40 minutes. You know, for me it's 48. Not that different.
I have a version of that. I used to have a doorman job on the Upper East Side, and this is actually kind of true. And I was living in Long Island when I worked there. I was like 21 years old, 22 years old, and where I lived in Long Island was really like I could get from my parents' house where I was staying to the doorman job in like 28 minutes. And if you do it now, it really is like an hour. Like that's how much traffic is like
Really?
quadrupled in like 20 years.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's way more traffic in the city than it used to be. Like, but it sounds like an old man complaint.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it really is. Like that's why they do all those Uber restrictions and all that. Yeah.
I thought the pandemic was gonna slow everything down. You know, because everybody's like, "We're not going to an office anymore." So you'd think traffic would drop.
It did.
Oh, it
and then
did?
it went back with a fury.
Interesting.
And what ended up happening was a lot of these places now I think are going, you're coming back to the office.
Oh.
I remember when during pandemic when they were like, New York will take like at least 5 to 8 years to get back to
Oh,
normal.
they always say that.
It looks normal walking around. It's crazy.
It's great. Well, I think the hobo went up a little.
Well, yes, I think
crime
that
went up a little.
The crime went up a little, but it's becoming like it's still not like 1990s New York City. I remember coming to the city.
No chance.
I remember I've talked about this to Ray, where like even in '97, my buddy went to Parsons, and his dorm was on 13th and 3rd, or 11th and 3rd, and he goes, "All right, you're gonna come in from Long Island. You're gonna take the 2 to then to the L. Do not go past First Avenue." He was like, "Do not." And the stop he was talking about was Bedford Avenue, L stop, which is like for a while was one of the richest neighborhoods in the city.
Yeah, it's like as Colin Quinn says, when I was a kid, you didn't take the L. Now it looks like a ski lift. Everybody's white and rich.
It's true. Everybody drove over there.
I've been here 4 years. I've never been like truly scared. Like
Really?
I've never felt like I was gonna get like mugged.
That makes sense to me.
Been very few times, but it feels safer than like I grew up to believe, like with
Right.
movies and fucking.
Well, it has gotten safer since you were a kid.
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure.
But didn't you just choke a guy out in the subway?
Me?
No. But when I grew up in New Orleans, it was way worse than New York. Like everybody's like, "Oh, you're going up to New York? Watch out, the big city." And I'm like, "This is way scarier because there's no people around in New Orleans."
Dude, I was there for your thing, and it's my first time there, and I was terrified. You walk around and like you're like, oh, I see why this place is haunted. Like there was nobody on the streets. and there was no street lights. And I was like, I asked somebody, I was like, oh, they do that for effect? They're like, no, they just run the city really bad.
Yeah, that's
They
a horrible,
run-
horrible infrastructure, and it's haunted, but it's haunted with young gang members who are still alive. You know? It's definitely haunted, but it's wild out there.
I think LA's scarier than New York.
Oh,
for
way,
sure.
especially
Like,
now.
Yeah, like their homeless people play by no rules there.
No.
Well,
no.
it's also weird when you see like a rock and roll homeless dude. Like I get way scarier of like a homeless guy in like a leather jacket with spikes on it and like the Misfits on the back.
Yeah.
Than I do. I could be in the middle of Bed-Stuy and be like, I'm fine.
Right.
But like when it comes to LA, I walked around there and be like, I don't know if you're just gonna like, I don't know, sell me your CD, like your rock CD or like.
Well, they'll touch you there. Like they have more of like a haunted house vibe in New York, where they'll scream at you, they'll scare you, but they're not gonna grab you.
That's funny.
They can't do it.
That's a bit.
But LA, they touch.
Oh, they'll
man.
touch you.
Yeah.
Well, they're all failed actors, so they feel like they can do blocking.
It's interactive theater. What about the thing that they have in the news today from Chappelle? He went to San Francisco and he was like, what the fuck happened to this place?
I know,
Because he
right?
said that it's so, he said he saw a guy take a shit in the middle of the street. And he was like, what happened? Because the thing about San Francisco, every time I went there, it always was embrace the homeless. But they were like, it went up, because of the pandemic, it went up to the umpteenth level. Like it went, they were just like, took over the city.
It's wild.
I saw a shit there broad daylight, like out the window of an open mic. There was a guy just shitting while somebody was on stage.
Where people see it and they were like, was it clear?
The comedian commented on it, but it was also kind of, he was like from San Fran, and he commented it more like, Jesus, like what the fuck is going on here? And I'm watching, I'm like, this is awesome. This is wild. Like,
So Chappelle stole his bit.
stole that guy's bit.
Way ahead of his time, this
But
kid.
it's Chappelle's, but he made the hobo trans.
But I went once, and I think I told you this, and a guy, he didn't, you're right, in San Fran, he didn't touch me, but he followed me for like 6 blocks saying, yo, Youngblood. And it took me 6 blocks to go, I'm Youngblood. I'm Youngblood. I turned around like, oh shit, hey, what's up?
Like Youngblood, I'm Wish the Gora.
Well, I was younger. This is a while.
Okay, but yes, San Francisco was a beautiful city. I mean, it still is in parts. Don't get me wrong. It's it's like every city. Everybody goes, New York's ruined. Then you go in certain areas, like this is beautiful. Washington Square Park is great.
Well, that was like that Marjorie Taylor Greene thing where she was like, it's a disgusting city, and people overlaid her audio with like every nice part of Manhattan.
Oh,
and
did
Brooklyn.
they?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Online as like a clip.
When was the last time you gave a homeless person money?
Ooh, good question.
Not that long ago, I had changed. It's, you know what it is? By the Comedy Cellar, that 7-Eleven, you're so cornered. You're out there.
Brutal.
You're so every 7-Eleven is like a hellscape. I don't know. I don't know why, especially the one over there. Because once the McDonald's over there was around for like 40 years, and shame on McDonald's because they closed. Besides what they've done for the past 60 years, but they closed that one, and it literally made that whole area even worse than it already
You think
was.
so?
Yes.
Why
yeah.
was
Because
the McDonald's?
Because it was like this. At least it like by the McDonald's was lit up 24 hours.
Ah, okay.
Now it looked like a condemned project. It was like
does,
so then
yeah.
people started like. People were like almost camping out around the McDonald's, and it was like I think people probably definitely broke into the McDonald's.
Sure.
Like it was like a shit show, and then they just transferred the energies to the 7-Eleven right there.
Yeah, right.
To the point, I'm convinced. Okay, so
I know
it
what you're
had
gonna say. I know what you're
the
gonna
doors?
say, and I think you're completely right.
I think I'm right.
Yeah.
The doors, the 7-Eleven had regular doors that had to be opened.
Yep.
Now they have the bing bong, the sliding
slide,
doors,
the
the
electric
automatic
slide.
doors, because of
because
these
the guy,
dudes.
they
He
open
would
the
hold
door
it open.
guy.
That was the last time I tipped somebody, is because they held a
Yes,
door
they
out
got
of the
you by the
7-Eleven.
balls.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of like, yeah, you're doing something. Because I like the mariachi guys. They come on the subway. I always give them money. Always,
Oh, really?
no matter what.
I had them today. I can't hear my pod.
Yeah, but I respect the effort. That and the doo-wop guys. Ooh,
I like the
I
doo-wop.
respect the music.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to those guys, you're like, oh, you're kind of like. Also, it's kind of different for me because I'm like, oh, I should give you money for opening the door because I did your job. I did that job.
I was doorman.
I was a doorman. So I'm kind of like, yeah, that's kind of all it was.
Right. Yeah, but you didn't have shit on yourself.
No, I smelled way better. Usually, but
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he was homeless homeless, but I was telling you this. I had a guy on the subway a couple of weeks ago that I thought was talking on the phone the whole time, but I realized I was underground and he was just talking shit at me next to me.
Oh, damn.
And I refused to make eye contact. And when he got off, he did the mime of the gun at me.
Whoa.
Yeah, we waited and did the mime of the gun, and that was, I would say that was the closest to being like, oh yeah, that guy probably could have fucking shivved me, but it was still early, and it was a train coming from Astoria. I don't think, I mean, that's a tough way to get murdered.
You
in
never
New York.
know, though.
It also is such a commercial for gun control because think about it. In New York, there's so many people. Like that's why gun control works for New York. 'Cause you're like, but that guy could have gotten a gun. He would have gotten a gun. There's no way that he just wouldn't have figured out how to get a
point.
Yeah.
He used the finger because he was like, man, I wish I had a freaking gun.
Instead, he's just
shoot
improv 101, object working me with a gun.
You yes and his gun. You just act like you got shot.
I should have went.
You do a good death scene. Yeah.
Wow.
But no, I think a lot of places got shitty, and I think New York was like, let's hurry up and go back to normal. Because I even that same area I was just talking about, during pandemic when they were doing like those, they were shows but they weren't at the cellar.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
where you were looking at
weird.
like plastic tube thing.
That was a weird time to be alive.
Oh yeah, I got shoulder checked 3 different times outside.
Yeah.
And I kind of had a similar thing with you, but it wasn't a gun finger thing. A guy shoulder checked me. I thought it was an accident. I turn around and he's doing like the both hands. Come on, come on,
Oh,
come on,
damn.
come on. Yeah.
See, the gun check thing would be fun because you could go, and getting shot too, and maybe he'd be like, I got him. You know, because he's probably a crazy guy.
You become 6 all of a sudden. Well, cops and robbers.
He had the full, like he was wearing a mask, but it wasn't like a surgical mask. It was like part of his shirt, and then he had sunglasses on and a hat.
Damn.
Which
like the Invisible
makes
Man.
it way worse.
Yes. Like,
Whoa.
which 5 years ago you would be like, oh, what the fuck is he? He's a bandit on a train. Like,
Sure,
you know,
sure.
but now it's like
He's robbing the train. That's what train robbers will.
but it's normal to see people wear masks. So like I didn't think anything of it at first. Like my like sensors didn't go off that I should be like worried until he started talking shit and saying things. This could be in my own head, but I was writing in my notebook about a funeral and I heard him say the word funeral. I was like, is this guy reading my fucking
Was he close enough to read it?
He's pretty good. He's about as close as me and you are right now.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, maybe he saw
Yeah.
it. But also, wouldn't it be great if he was just like a train robber and he just didn't realize that wasn't a thing anymore? And he was like, and then he was like, really, he was just frustrated. That's why he did what he
There's
did.
no cash on here. Just people that can't afford Ubers.
But but you didn't say anything to him. Like, would you?
I didn't say shit.
Would you have? Did you map out any scenarios? We talk about this in the pod where it's like, did you have the jerk store moment of like, this is what I would have done if I had the druthers at the moment?
Yeah, like I mean, I did the thing where like I made sure to like get off of like get everything out of my hands. You know what I mean? Like I put my notebook like in my bag.
He doesn't want the
after
notebook.
a while.
Nah.
Well, no. So my hands were free, so I wasn't still sitting there
Oh, I
writing
see,
or
I
like if I
see.
had to go. No.
Smart.
Well, he seemed like he liked the one
That's
joke.
True. He
was
liked the funeral bit.
But do you have like a move like when you feel danger coming? Like
I always heard, for me, I would kick, like do a big old donkey kick, like straight out. Just
I mean,
to,
when it gets down to it,
yeah, just to get some distance. But I always heard hit the throat. That's what I always heard growing up. They're like, chop the throat, punch the throat.
I mean, right when it gets to a fight.
Yeah.
But he's saying like right before that moment when, like that situation, would you have just got up? You would have just got up.
I would
and
just
went,
walked away. I
Yeah.
just walked away. But like, oh,
But you
that's
kind of
weird.
cornered it at one point because then you're like, did you have the thought during it? You're like, oh, if I get up noticeably now, he might comment on that and then come after me because of that. Because I'm getting up because just from like his reaction to me getting up.
I know it is a tough call. What do you do?
I used to do I've talked about it where
The stare straight forward seems what everybody does.
Yeah.
I like would have my sharpest key in my hand, like I'm gonna stab somebody with it. But I don't know if that would pierce skin.
I think you got to.
Oh, sure it would.
Or the eye.
Jeez, you're going for the fucking.
Well, if we're going, we're going. You know,
That's true.
What am I gonna tap you?
Yeah.
You know, but I saw a comment. I'm not gonna say his name. We were on the subway together. He had his laptop open because he was like working on a script or something. And these 3, street toughs were like, "Oh, we're gonna steal that laptop. We're gonna steal the laptop." They were like 4 feet away, and you could hear them. And they were kind of saying it to scare him. And he was having a bad day, and he was a big guy. And he slammed the laptop, and he goes, "You gonna steal this? You gonna fucking steal this?" And he's holding it up, and they're like, "Whoa!" And they just walked off the train. It worked.
Good for him.
But he went so nuts that they were like, "Fuck this guy."
That's scarier than any like hoodlum on a train is the guy that just has had it. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like
yes.
just like
The falling down moment.
There's a whole
It's
movie
Michael
about it.
Douglas and falling down, and it's Bernie Getz. It's also this kid. You mentioned it. You said he was the guy. You're the Marine that choked out that
He had
dude.
a bad day, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
he
he-
had herpes. He found out.
But dude, that's basically. I said it's UFC Bernie Getz. You know what Bernie Getz is?
No.
It's a New York legend from back in the day. This guy, it was when this is like nothing compared to what it was when this guy did this. He shot these 3 black teens on the train because they were trying to mug them. This is in the 70s. I forget what year it is.
Oh, I think I have heard
And
about this.
yeah, it was like a famous thing, right?
Bernie Getz calling you?
he knows you're talking shit, dude. Bernie.
But what this guy did.
It was 84.
84. Oh, it was 84. Okay, so the city was shit. It was
Yeah.
so much worse.
Right.
And it was like at peak level, and there was like kind of racial undertones, which there
Sure.
always is.
Sure.
And he shot these dudes, and he was hailed a hero and a villain at the same time. That's what's going to happen with this dude. It's a lesser thing because
Interesting.
it's different time. It's not as dangerous as it was. And this guy, that case. Did you hear about this guy that did this?
Oh, you haven't heard about this? It's like
No,
blowing up.
I don't read anything. Ever.
Wow.
I don't. It's
That's why
bad.
you got a full head of hair and beautiful eyes.
Oh, thank you.
Good skin.
Really?
Yeah, you got
Thanks.
great skin.
I got a big head, I think, though. I think I got a giant
big head's
fucking head.
fine.
Yeah.
But
All
this kid is an ex-Marine. This guy's bugging out on the train. There's all these different conflicting stories. There's the Marine's sitting there. This guy comes on. He's got mental problems. He starts telling the people, I'm going to go to jail. It's almost like I don't give a fuck moment for that guy. And he's freaking out. And everybody's uncomfortable. And then some people say it that he did go after this guy and touched him. And the guy got up. And then he put him in like a UFC style chokehold. And they're saying that these other 2 guys got up and like held the guy down because I think he was just going so berserk. But one of the things they did say is like he probably held him that way for like 15 minutes. But I watched the video.
15's long.
15's really long.
Yeah.
And everything is based on stage. Where it's like, do you ever hear a time thing and you're like, I'm basing how long it would be on the stand-up stage?
That's
Like,
a long set.
It's a long set.
That's
Exactly.
3 late night sets.
Exactly. So everybody's like this. They're making the guy. They're like, this guy. He had mental problems. His mom died. He had some issues. Okay, but then some people are saying like he was threatening people and he did attack that guy. And some people are like he didn't attack anybody. He was just your normal. That's the thing. That's what the norm has become. Just somebody crazy yelling on the train.
Right.
And he said this guy. But if you watch, I think in the video, nobody's saying. Which I can't imagine. I wouldn't be there after about a minute and go, okay, that's enough. That's enough. He's good. Like, wouldn't you just assume he's gonna kill the guy if he's holding him like that for 15 minutes straight?
I guess they assume he's just holding him. He's got a choke hold. It's not a choke kill.
Oh yeah, but he's crushing the guy's larynx.
I guess, but then also there's all this shit, and look, I got no
no
don't wanna
horse
pick
in the
a
race
side
either.
here, but
Yeah.
they kept saying the guy has a history. He punched out an elderly woman. He pushed a lady on the tracks. There's all this old shit. So you're like, that kind of factors in the argument.
Which it really shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't. I don't think it should because it's like those people on the train didn't know that. A Marine didn't know that. He just.
That's true.
I think if he did attack the Marine, that's when he goes, okay, the Marine can grab him and restrain him.
Right.
But reasonably, there should have been somebody that was like, okay, you got him, or kick him off the train, or call somebody, or something.
Yeah.
Like you can't have 15. Like we said, 15 minutes is 3 late night sets. That's a really, really
eternity,
long time.
Especially,
man.
it doesn't sound like there was a laugh in that interaction.
No.
It's like, wow, this is taking forever. That 15 feels like 30.
Bombing straight for 15 minutes. I'm bombing with this guy. I'm chokeholding.
So you think in that situation, either of you would have said something if you were a bystander?
no way.
Fuck no.
I think I really wait to the guy. You mean?
I'm not saying shit, period.
Wait to who?
I'm just
To
sitting
the,
there.
to the
To
Marine.
neither.
Either.
No, I would if it was, dude. And I'm not trying to say that I'm like, I would have stepped right in. I wouldn't have. I would have been like freaked out with this guy and moved when he was doing it. But when the guy's chokehold him, I'd be like, all right, man, you got him. Or like, yeah, like I don't know. I think I would have been like, that seems too. If you knew he was choking him and the guy wasn't reacting, I think a couple of people would be like, all right, man, that's enough. You got him. Let's throw him.
But
up.
nobody did that.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But that's because I think no one thought he was dying.
That's what I think.
You're
That's my point.
better at confronting strangers than I am.
Well, he's a New Yorker.
Yeah. I couldn't call out somebody cutting me in line in New York.
I couldn't either.
He can do it. He does it.
Yeah. How do you do it?
I do it.
What's the move?
It's called Irish Rage. I don't even. I've done it and been wrong. Remember I did it?
Yes.
Oh no, that's my biggest
I did
fear.
it. He has a story. We went to this deli by our house, and I was going to get sandwiches, and I full on freaked on this person, and they were just an Uber Eats guy that was coming to get sandwiches. To
Hey, no, we were in line.
What you do the hey.
Oh, I did it. I had to move. Yesterday, I was with my girlfriend and her son, and we're coming up an escalator in Penn Station to come back, and there's a guy trying to sidle and come in front of me and come on and beat them to the escalator. And I had a bag we went to my mom's for Mother's Day, and I just blocked him with the bag, and he kept looking at me. I'm like, what? And then I just blocked. I didn't touch him. I just put my bag here so he couldn't get around the bag to go up, and because he would have just sidled him and shot up the escalator. I was like, fuck you! It's a girl and her son. Like, let him go up. Yeah, whatever it is.
Wow.
So I'll do stuff like that, but I've been wrong, and I've had to be like, oh, okay, sorry. I've had to apologize for my public interactions.
As long as you apologize, I think you're fine, because most people don't do that.
I have a fairness thing in my head. I do have a fairness thing in my head. I'm like, if something's unfair, I'll call that out. But like very small stuff.
Like if like a barber would fuck up your hair when he's cutting your hair, are you saying something?
No, I'd probably go home and cry after.
Really?
I mean, I might go like, whoa, easy there. But I wouldn't be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing, asshole? I want my money back. I would never do that.
Yeah, I'm incapable of it.
Yeah. I had a barber recently. This guy was a huge prick. He was a sexy Italian guy. And I go in.
I got your head.
It's an Italian barbershop. They do great work. I'm not going to say which one, but I always go there, and I walk up. And the guy goes, hey, we're kind of busy right now. Do you have an appointment? I go, no, I'm a walk up. And he goes, I can probably squeeze you in, but it's going to have to be quick. And I go, great, quicker the better. I want in and out. He goes, all right. Barely spoke English, very Italiano, hey. And he goes, what you looking for? I go, just trim the top, cut the sides, give me a buzz around the ears and around the back. And he goes, all right. And he just starts buzzing everything. And I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he's like, hey, we're in a hurry. And I'm like, but I said scissors, And he's like, you said buzzer. I'm like, buzzer on the ear. And he totally fucked me up. My hair was this short. I looked like G.I. Jane, alopecia, Jada Pinkett. And I was getting like teary-eyed because you have to watch it. Not only are you getting this shit done to you, but you have to see it happen. It's
you start feeling hot?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm just fuming and like imagining killing this guy, but he's got scissors at your neck and a razor. So I got totally fucked. And now every time I go back there, if he's working, I won't go in. So I'll look in the window like a psycho and go, oh, that fucking wop, and I'll go to the next one.
So you won't even go in and ask for a different guy.
I don't even want to risk it.
Yeah.
Because I could never go, oh, hey, Bob's good for you. And I go, and I would have to go with Bob again. Because I can't say not him.
That's
too mean.
A very hard thing to do in barbershops.
Yes.
Is to go not him. My dad was great at that. We would go. His favorite place is this place Joe's in Queens, and he would go, "I'm gonna wait for Joe." And they like three different. One time I watched, it's like a trifecta. 3 different barbers were like, "I got you," and he was like, "Nah, wait for Joe."
Oh, that's
and
not bad. I'll wait for Joe is better than not Joe.
Oh, yeah. But you can always assign yourself. Like, I'm here for.
That's true.
Giuseppe.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Giuseppe because one of them's Giuseppe.
Just make up a name.
The barber shop I go to, I went to a different. I don't really have a dude there yet. Like, I don't have a guy I'm comfortable with. I went to one guy once, but then the next time I went to a different dude, and I felt guilty the whole time because the other guy was right next to me, and I felt like he was like, did I do something wrong? And I wanted so bad to be like, he was just available, and I wanted to like clarify that.
I'm the same exact way.
It's like the closest thing to speed dating that straight dudes do. Straight dude on straight dude speed barber dating.
You chat a barber up. Do you chat a barber up?
I will if it's one time where because I'm a pretty talkative person. I'm affable, and I'll do it if they do it. I can sit there in silence in an Uber and with the barbershop, because and if they do. I'll answer questions, but I'll never like initiate where I'm like, "Hey, how's your day going?" Because I'm like, I think that comes off so disingenuous.
Yeah.
But if they're like, "So what's the story? Were you doing something?" Blah blah blah. I'll answer that. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish somebody would give them an improv course because they always have the worst. So work around here or whatever, and I'm like, that's all you got?
Yeah, I
give
know.
me something. Nice day out. I'm like, yeah, nice day.
They should have like a pamphlet.
Yeah,
or they should, or like a blog they can go to look like.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if they were like, hey, did you see that subway shit? I'd be like, I know, that was crazy. That that was interesting, at least.
Or what you do is, or just start with a barn burner. Just be like, so race relations. So what do you think about abortion?
That was the old barber. The old barber I went to talked about the wildest shit. He was talking because he was like, I'll carve whatever into anybody's head. I don't care what it is. And I'm always quiet there. And then one day I was like, what if somebody wanted a swastika in the side of their head? And it was a Jewish barber.
Oh.
And he sits there and he's like, I think I do it.
Wow.
Which I'm actually super shocked at.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy should sell cakes to gays. They're having trouble getting cakes made.
But I think if I was a Jewish barber, that's a little power thing. You can go and go get the fuck out of my.
Yeah. Of course.
That's where I think 6 million Jews is worth saying. He says that I'm not going to shave this inside of your head.
They were $15 haircuts. You know what I mean? I would have been like, get the fuck out of here. No, I'm definitely not doing that.
But the Jews have the beauty of the yarmulke at the end. You fuck up the back. Oop, there you go.
there's not one for the side.
Right. That's true.
I told you the story when I went in Queens to Astoria, the place. This place I always walked by. I'm like, oh, it looks decent. And then I went in, and the main guy, I think, who was like the only legitimate, like, bartender, a barber, was like, I'm gonna give you to Chris over there, and I was like, all right. And I sat down, and he started talking to me, and I knew right away this guy was an issue. I'm like, he's like, yeah, I'm usually like a DJ, and I was, I played soccer professionally for a while. I'm like, oh, I'm fucked. I'm so. And here's the thing, man. Look at me. I'm very low. Like, there's not much. Yeah. Only the beard is where you can kind of mess it up. Yeah. But this dude was able to. This hair, he screwed up. Started digging into my hairline, like whatever little hair I have. He started messing with the hairline, and I was like, I know that's not how that's supposed to go. I know by feeling. And then he barely cuts the beard with scissors, and he was like, all right, man, thanks. But the weirdest part, at the end of the haircut, he goes, thank you for your trust. That's what he said. That should never be uttered at a barbershop ever.
Yeah.
And then the guy, as I'm walking out, the main guy goes, drop us a review. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be sure to do that.
Wow.
But I didn't. The reason I bring it up is because I didn't say shit during that haircut.
Did you leave a review?
I did not. I did not leave a review.
No one has the time for that.
I've never left a review negatively in my life.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Me neither.
Me neither.
And it's so anonymous, and I'm still like, yeah, these people got to make a living.
Now, the most I'll do is one time I left a restaurant, the service was so bad that I walked out, I was like, don't go in that fucking place on the sidewalk, and that was the most I'll do.
Did you still tip?
Of course.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think I gave like 18%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know? I'll do like I could have
these little victories in your head.
Yeah.
Like I always say, I could have somebody like a waitress like call me a piece of shit, and I'm like, this bitch is only getting 18.
Yeah.
You know,
like she's gonna go only 18. Like she's gonna be like, all right, 18%.
Yeah.
Which is probably more than most people
I know,
tip.
right?
I know.
The guy with the huge head, give me 18%.
But I think I've never done it with a restaurant. I freaked on I freaked on a Lyft driver once. Me and my ex-wife were looking at apartments, and I was meeting her in Forest Hills looking at an apartment. And you would have thought this guy just grabbed the car off the street and just was like, I can drive a car. He had no idea what it was to drive. He was switching lanes and not looking straight ahead, just moving the car. And I wasn't overreacting. And I'm like, whoa, you got somebody over here. And it was like we're in a lot of traffic, right?
Wow.
So he's doing that. He's speeding up. He's almost hitting cars. It's like he learned how to drive a car 12 minutes before that, and even bad for that. So we finally get to the exit. We're in traffic forever. I almost died 4 times. I get off. I go, pull over here now. Pull over right here. And he's like, no. You got the 3 more blocks. I go, no, right here, right now. And I go, dude, how long you been driving a car? And he goes, 14 years.
Oh.
And I go, okay, man, I'm sorry I yelled at you. And this is how you know you're so pissed, when you just start giving them advice more than yelling at him. I was like,
directing.
I'm like, I go, you need to stop doing this. You're gonna hurt somebody. And then I contacted Lyft, and I'm like, give me my money back right now, and don't have this guy drive. That's the only time I've ever done that. And I've had other bad Ubers and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like that comic you meet who's so bad they don't get one laugh, and you're like, how long you been doing? They're like, 28 years. You're like, oh, nice.
Keep it up.
Yeah. You should be a Lyft driver.
I was on the road once, and a guy that was hosting the shows, and he was atrocious, and he had been doing it probably 8 to 10 years at that point, and he was bombing every show at his home club in this town, and he kept telling me how he was going to move to New York. And I go, hey man, I think what you do is, I try to be nice. I go, yeah, you conquer it here. You become the big guy here, and then you come to New York, right?
Right.
And he didn't listen. About 6 months later, he was in New York, and then was doing mics and melting down and mentioning my name on stage, saying that I told him to move to New York. And
wow.
You think this is bad, Sean? Don't told me to move here.
And that was Greg Stone.
That man's name was Ian Fidance. Fidancy? How do you say his name? But no, what would it take for you to speak up in one of those moments? A restaurant moment, barbershop will be covered because it's like they do the damage and you get out of there.
Right.
But like if it was like you're in, because we've all had it, you're a pretty laid back fellow.
Yeah, I know
and
but
you can't offend you.
You don't
No.
like you could stand. You're good at standing up for yourself, though.
A little. It depends on the situation. But here's my problem. My dad was the exact opposite of us. He was flip out guy. And it was so embarrassing and so traumatizing as a kid. Like, one time we were at Popeyes in a black neighborhood. We're the only white people in there. My dad's in a suit. He was a lawyer. I got a book bag on. I'm probably, 11, 12. And he goes, we've been waiting here for 30 minutes, and it's a bunch of, like, kind of ghetto. It's a ghetto Popeyes. And they're all like, sit down, man. We're making it. And he's like, all right. And he's, like, pacing and huffing and puffing. And I'm just like, oh, fuck. And then he just snaps. And he's like, my son is hungry. We've been waiting, Baba. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And you could tell every guy in there is like, I'll knock you out, man. Like, take it easy. He's got a briefcase. It was so brutal. And he's done that like 20 times.
That would have been my dad. My dad was the same way. My dad was a really cool, good guy and a fun guy, a nice guy.
Yeah.
But in moments like that, you know what it is? I think it's a dad thing. I think you'd probably change your mind on that if
Maybe.
I think you being hungry. I think that was a majority of why the guy did it.
I didn't care. I was like, I'm fine.
You were like, I'm not that hungry.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I said that. I was like,
but you were like
cool.
10 years old or whatever it was.
Yeah, and one guy looked at me. He's like, "You gotta control your dad or talk to your dad." And I was like,
Yeah,
But,
I'm 11. Relax.
Yeah. He did it one time. We were at a nice restaurant in a hotel, and he was like, "This is out of control. They got their food first. He's standing. The whole restaurant's like, "Rah?" And he's yelling at some poor girl. She was probably like 15, a waitress. And he's like, I want my food sent to my room, and I want the bill to be paid for. And we just sat in the room quietly and ate it, like scared of my dad.
Oh, see, in public, my dad was there's a wrongdoing going on. He did it at the movies once. I told you that story. And
It's
then
a wrongdoing. That's what it is.
It's a
You're
wrongdoing.
screwing me.
But then if it was traffic, he would go berserk.
Oh, that was scary.
We weren't. I've said this. We weren't allowed to say the word traffic in the car. I already said that on the pod a couple times, but it's like it's true. My sister to this day is so in that she won't say it. Like you say it in front of her, she'll go, Sean. Like even like if she was here, you say traffic, she would be like, come on.
That's great. Wow, it's the N word at your house. Yeah. Holy shit.
But there was a moment, that OTB story I told you where I've said it on the
OTB?
Oh yeah,
You're hanging with the OTB, or
I
he
would pick
was?
him up. I had his car. I would.
Wow.
So he'd be at the OTB, which is off-track betting. I told you this. I already told the story in the show, I think, but I would say it again. And it was actually kind of fun to watch. He was in some guy was in his spot. And he was like this like wannabe mafia guy, like Italian guy. And my dad came over and he's like, "You're on my spot." And the guy's like, "What are you gonna do about it?" And like right at that moment, I kind of came in and saw what was going on. And then the guy's friend was like, he's like, "Kick his ass, Sonny. Kick his ass." And my dad was like, he looked at me and goes, "Sonny? Your name is Sonny?" And I was like, "All right, that's enough." Because the thing is this, like he had like weird, like he was like looked like a fat guy, but he had like weird. He was a jail guard at Rikers Island. He had like weird strength out of nowhere.
Did he have like them fat dad hands?
Yeah, yeah, like
Damn,
my
I
hands were
want those
stronger.
so bad.
Like, yeah, exactly. And he had like he had me do hand grips when I was a kid. Like it was like he always keep pushing these hand grips. I think he must have done them all the time because he had insane amount of strength for what he looked like.
Interesting.
So if he got into it, he really get into it with people. But most of the time, he was fairly chill. It'd just be these like little injustices that he would freak out about.
I was always scared to see my dad get his ass kicked because he was just, he never snapped like that. And I one time my dad had this. There was this guy. He stole a bunch of his toll. My dad stole this guy's tolls, and the guy wanted to come beat my dad up. So my dad was sleeping in his van for a couple of days, and I remember walking to school, and I saw my dad sleeping in his van, and it was at that moment where like you lose that like, oh, he's Superman, nobody can fuck with him. I was like, now I can't deal with him experiencing the humiliation of getting through an argument. And
When you realized your dad was human.
yeah, well, no, less than a pussy. You know,
Why was he sleeping in a van?
because he was hot, because he knew the guy was looking for him.
No.
Yeah, but I still stayed in the apartment
Right.
as a kid.
Where are we? What city?
Pittsburgh.
Oh, wow. That's terrible. This guy's a scary guy going around knocking on doors.
Bobby
looking for
Bear was his name, and he.
Easy, easy.
It's like an independent wrestler.
Him and my dad are both dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that guy got murdered.
Whoa.
Yeah, somebody hit him with a beer bottle, and he fell down steps.
Wow.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Wasn't my dad, but it would have been cool.
How many? That's how you know you grew up around there. It's like how many deaths involve like falling down. It's always drunk deaths. Like I fell down some steps.
Yeah.
And I'm dead. Or like trains. There's always drunk stuff or drugs. Because my dad's friend Eddie O'Shaughnessy, they're like, how did he die? And like, oh, he got hit by the subway. And I was like, oh, because he was like loaded, walking in the
That's
middle
it.
of the
Yeah.
subway. Like that's exactly
We
what it
should
was.
be dead. I mean, I should be dead.
I
for
should be
sure.
dead. I should-
And all the drunk driving I did, the drunk fights and whatnot. I would take handfuls of pills at a party. I should be totally dead.
I drank recently and been like, just based off the drinking I did amount,
Yeah,
I should have a heart attack right now.
Totally.
I'm not in shape enough to even to drink this amount right now, or getting yourself into like I said stuff like when I was younger to people on the street. I should have gotten stabbed right
Yeah,
there.
I saw you get into it with a guy once.
When was
you
this?
were in a blackout. I don't know if you wanted me to talk about it because it's not pretty.
Did you really?
Outside a cabin, with me and you were getting pretty tuned up, and then
Oh, you were loaded as well.
yeah, but you were like
I was gone.
You were gone. You were like stumbling.
Do I know about this?
No, I mean, it's not that.
You might have
No,
heard
go
it the
ahead,
next day.
Yeah, I think I told you.
I got
about it
kicked out
later.
of there for 2 months once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That woman Michelle, that was the bartender. She's like, "You're out of here for
She
2
was a
months."
real coos.
Yeah.
But we got into it with these guys. I guess you bumped into them or something. These were like big, fratty, tough guys, and they were like, "Go outside." So you were like, "Hey, we're going outside." So me and a couple other
Did I
idiots-
really?
Yeah, we were like, "All right, I guess we're going outside." You had that guy with you, Phil, McKinley, Mick.
Oh, Sean?
Sean, and. He was there, and he was trying to cool it. He was like, "Hey, everybody, he's hammered. Don't worry about it." And then you, out of the blue, goes, "Fuck that," to Sean. You go, "Let's do it." And you went, and you swung at the guy, and you did the movie spin around and fell over because you were like a foot away from the guy, like, ugh. And then you did that one, fell over. They started laughing, and then they left.
Is that true?
Yeah, so we picked you up off the sidewalk. We went back inside.
I don't know about that.
And then you were like, "Did I get him?" They're like, "Yeah, you kicked his ass, Sean."
Yeah, we all celebrated.
I really did. I had another.
It was a beautiful spin. It was the best outcome.
It's
Nobody wanted to fight.
That is the best outcome.
Yeah, and we got
I don't remember. Wow, I really was blacked out, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember. You never told me that story,
We
right?
put you in a can. It was like putting a bag of leaves in a garbage can. Like you were flopping, and we had to shove you in a cab, and then
Who was
kick
there?
you in and then close the
It
door.
was you and because McGinley was there when you were. Wow.
Yeah.
Was it like after the show?
This must have been 08, 09.
Right. Oh
I
my
mean, this is
God.
years ago.
Jeez, that's a
It was after the show.
Were you a blackout guy?
Oh yeah. Blackout driver, blackout all day long. I woke up on Bedford Avenue once. It's on the sidewalk. I had rocks on my face.
In the
I remember,
morning?
and the sun was hitting me, and I was like, I got up and went home.
like a baby bird.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal. I pissed myself. It was bad. I got knocked out twice, and I got mugged 3 times. 2 were in a blackout in New York.
That's one thing I never did was I never got mugged. I did do what he just said, but I never got mugged. I've never been, I don't know why I've never been, well, now I'm going to say this, I'm going to get mugged on the way home, but
No, you're fine.
I never had it where I've heard so many stories. I was just telling somebody Sean Lynch, who's also, I think he might be sober now, maybe, but
yeah, he was a boozer.
Sean, big boozer, and he had a story that he was on the subway once, and he was passed out, and these dudes did that slit the pocket thing.
Oh,
Where they
yeah,
slit the pocket
with the
and take
X-Acto
the
knife.
Yes,
Oh,
which
shit.
is
They just go right around your keys or your phone. Boop, boop, boop. I got mugged on the L train. I was in Canarsie. I woke up. Guy's hand was in my pocket. And I stood up and I hit the bar.
Ooh.
I hit the top, with the top of my head, and I fell back down, and I was all disoriented. And the guy was like, "Don't worry, the train will turn right back around." And he walked out the doors, and they closed. And I was like, "Huh, I got robbed." It was just like it was very peaceful.
It was. He just took it and then gave you advice.
He took it and he was like standing in the doorway, and then he's like, "Don't worry, the train will turn right back around." He knew I fell asleep and had gone too far.
But he was like, "This is the price of admission."
I guess so.
Yeah,
and then the doors closed, and like there's nothing I could do. I like looked out there, and he was just walking away.
Why did you get knocked out? Were you starting shit or just?
Oh, the other times?
Yeah.
Well, once I was at Rudy's.
Great bar. He loves Rudy's.
Great bar. Well, they had free hot dogs with every beer.
They still have it, I think.
Oh, they do?
They do.
So I was broke, so I was like, I want to get drunk, and I haven't eaten in 9 days, you know, so killed 2 birds. And I was just in there putting them back, and then I was such a bad drunk that I'd be like I'll take the empties off the bar, like the half full ones, and chug them, you know, because I had no money.
Yeah.
And so I blacked out, and it was cold out, so I said, I live all the way in Crown Heights. Let me go into this little alcove. There was like a kind of a 3-step down porch thing. Let me go in this little alcove on the side street and just take like a little nap. And I woke up to like 3 or 4 guys going through my shit, and one of them goes, "He's getting up!" And I went out again.
Whoa!
And I woke up. They had my phone, my keys, my wallet, my joke book, my pen, my change. And it's so hard getting back to your house with 0 money, no ID, no debit card, nothing. So
You're basically off the grid at that point.
I'm off the grid, so I had to jump the turnstiles, then get all the way back home, then get my friend's phone, call my parents, tell them you got to ship me a card or call the bank or whatever. So it was a nightmare.
Whoa, dude,
I'd be fucked. I don't know how to get anywhere ever.
That same bar, a buddy of mine, we were there drunk, and my friend on the way out, like he said, the bartender was being a giant dick to him.
Yeah.
And on the way out, he jumped behind the bar, like from the patron side of the bar, reached over, grabbed a bottle of vodka, and booked it out the door.
Oh shit.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I love that.
Me too.
I used to do shit like that. You junk back because they were mean. You go, fuck you, and then they would push you around. That was fun.
Yeah, it's absolutely. But
Good times.
Well, what year was that with the alcove thing? That was probably
like 08.
That was
Yeah.
before COVID because
That
you were
was
drinking
like-
floaters at the bar.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I wouldn't have cared.
My brother caught me doing that at a strip club once and was so mad at me. I know. My brother was a big germaphobe, and we were at this strip club for a bachelor party, and he was like, "Did you just drink that beer?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's not your beer." I was like, "Oh, I know, dude." I was like, "They're like fucking $7 for a beer. This is, Pittsburgh, $7 for a beer. That's outrageous,
Crazy.
especially at that time."
It's like 50 cents.
And
Yeah.
people were leaving half beer, so I was crushing them.
Oh yeah, I did the
crushing
same
half-
thing.
yeah,
But
you
I would
got
do
to.
wine, cocktail, whatever. Sometimes, and it's like Caddyshack. Get the cigarette in it every now and then, you know. But yeah, we would do it because we were broke.
Yeah,
it works.
That's what I'm saying. It was great, and you'd hang out there, and they wouldn't get mad at you for not drinking while you were there.
Oh wow,
watching
that's
the
rare.
dancers.
It's insane. That time period, I was even at that point, I was probably too old to do it, but it was like still in my 20, 30. I was 30, and it makes more sense to drink that. How much do you think your drinking has fallen off since that time? It's like
Tons. Yeah,
It's-
huge. Probably like 70%.
Yeah.
I only do it on the weekends now, but I still have I'll have like 5 cocktails, and that's me going crazy. But back then, it was just like start at 6 and drink till I go to bed. Like I'm sipping on a vodka soda at night, and then I pass out. You drink all the way up to sleep.
Because you can regenerate.
Yeah,
I've had it now where it's like, if you have one night of drinking, I'm going to
Forget
have,
about it.
like, I'm having my birthday party tomorrow. And I've said, I'm like, oh, I can't do what I've done.
I
the
can't deal
past.
with it's not even just the hangover, it's the anxiety the next day.
Yes,
Because
yes.
me drunk has just turned into more and more of an asshole. And like, I feel like even if nothing did happen, I still have that like, do I got to apologize for,
Right.
because I have that happen to me sober, that I feel like I offended somebody just talking to them, or like,
Yeah.
leave a conversation. Like
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, not
Yeah.
with you, but I'm just saying in general, like, you piss someone off, you don't even know it.
Yeah.
And then you go home and they're like, whoa, Jeff's got a bone to pick. You're like, what about, I just saw Jeff. They're like, yeah, you called his mom a whore. And you're like, I did? Oh, shit, I was fucking around.
You ever have the reverse of that, where somebody asks
Oh,
you,
yeah,
"Hey,"
yeah.
I've had people just apologize to me, and like sometimes I'm like, "Oh, you might have said something," and
That's
if we're
how I
at
am,
cabin
like
and you might, and I was just drunk. But other times I'm like, "Oh no, I wasn't drunk at all," and like you didn't say anything. Like, "Oh, thank God, I told so and so, his mom's a whore,
Yeah.
fuck you,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh yeah, all right,"
You could have milked it.
yeah,
You could have been like, oh, yeah, you should probably buy me dinner.
yeah. You got 20 on you?
I had a girlfriend that used to, I think she did overhype the shit that I did blacked out. and like would try to make
probably.
me feel bad. And then my buddies, like I'd be apologizing to a friend and be like, "You're fine. We were all fucked up. She just, you know."
I'll do that to myself. I think everybody does. I don't know. I have that when if I'm like blacked out, I'll be like, or super drunk, will be like, oh my God, they're gonna be I would do nothing, and I'd be like the same thing where everybody's gonna be so mad at me just for me talking to them. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, I knew I didn't say anything offensive. I'd just be like, oh, they're gonna be mad that I was that drunk.
Yeah, you
like,
just never know. You're embarrassed.
You're embarrassed.
It's embarrassing. We're getting too old for that. Like, I drunk texted Seinfeld.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's like the biggest regret of my life.
What did it say?
I was shithoused on the road. I was in like some shithole town. I was lonely. I was kind of drunk and sad and just in that hotel alone where you're like, well, that was pointless that I got really drunk. And I thought I'd feel better, but I drank too much. And it's 4 in the morning, 3 in, and I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, oh, Seinfeld. I have his number. And then I was like, all right, I can't, drunk logic. I'm like, I can't fuck this up. This has got to be good. It's got to be worth it, So I came up with this whole sketch we could do together.
Oh, no,
I sent him a sketch idea.
You did not.
I swear to God.
You're like when you're drunk, you're at UC beer level 2.
Yeah, I'm not even a sketch guy.
I was gonna say, I thought I was like, oh, he like fanboyed out about the show or something.
No,
that would have been actually probably better.
Probably better because he's probably heard that a million times. This was like, hey, we should do this together, and it would really help my numbers. Did
you say that in the sketch?
No, I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. But I think I was just like, this is so good. I know I'm hammered, but like, this is so good. He couldn't not love this.
This guy did the #1 television show of all time and literally never acted again.
True story.
He literally only did the voice of a bee and then just interviewed people in his fucking cars.
True
and this
story.
guy goes, he'll act for me. He'll come back in.
Yes.
It's like
this.
It's like Pesci going to Bubkiss. He's like,
right. But at least there's money in that, like a TV network behind it. This was for YouTube. I was like, I got a great idea for a YouTube sketch. That was how I started. And he's like, I think this would really be cool or something. And I outlined the whole sketch, and it was long. It was like one of those long rectangle texts,
Yeah.
And talk about anxiety. When you wake up and you're like, oh no, I sent this, and then you start like, how can I unsend it? Like, are there ways to call Apple and all that?
That was before the unsend. I think. That's new.
You start fantasizing like, maybe I can go back in time. Whatever.
Because if they did have the unsend, you probably could have done it because he probably, how often is he checking his phone? A guy like that.
Well,
so maybe it would have got out of it somehow. But anyway,
I woke up at 1:30 p.m. So he probably wakes up at 6. He's a old guy.
Yeah.
And he wrote ... okay. Or like sure.
Question mark?
He wrote like sure, like just stop bothering me, kind of thing. Like yeah, sure, whatever.
Wow,
idiot.
But that's not bad.
That's not bad. It could have been like, don't text me again.
Yeah.
The Chris D story with him.
What was that? Can you say it?
Yeah, Chris D talks about it on a pod. But Seinfeld saw his 9/11 story on YouTube. He's like, this is amazing. He called Colin Quinn. He's like, who is this guy? He's hilarious. So then he gave him Chris's number. Seinfeld texts Chris. He's like, dude, I just saw your 9/11. It was incredible. I'm motivated. I'm inspired. Anytime you ever want to work together on anything, hit me up. And Chris is like, oh my God, this is years ago. And Chris didn't have as much going on. So he was like, this is incredible. Okay. And he started sending him bit ideas. And, have you seen Chris's act? It's like AOC's a cunt, Biden's going to die, he's gay, and Simon just never wrote back.
And that was it?
Yeah, he just left him on red.
So he thought they were just going to work on bits together?
I guess. I mean, in his defense, Seinfeld's like, I love everything you do. I like the way your brain works.
Oh, that actually does make sense because it was from a bit video. So why wouldn't he be like, hey, what do you think of this one?
Right. Well, Chris is like, my wife's Puerto Rican. Yippa, yippa. It's like not exactly Seinfeld style.
No, that's why it's like, you'd be surprised Seinfeld would like a bit of Chris's because he's usually such a purist of that stuff.
Well, the 9/11 bit was so good. It went viral.
What was the 9/11 one? Was that the one with his dad one? No.
He talked about he was in school when 9/11 happened.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah.
His mom didn't answer the phone, whatever.
Do you remember what the sketch was?
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say.
Oh.
But It was right when COVID hit.
He's like, I play Kramer too.
I play Kramer, but in blackface. This is so embarrassing. And looking back, I'm like, what was I thinking? That's how poisonous alcohol is.
You know what we've done on the show before is I've read little texts that I've sent to headliners asking to open. And they're always like that, like, hey, man, I hate myself. I hate to bother you. I know you're really busy. And, like, all that, like, that stuff. So it's fucking.
We've all been there.
Yeah, and I couldn't imagine
But this
texting.
is the 1000th level of
that's what I'm
headliner,
saying.
you know? Yeah.
I kind of respect it, even if it's drunk. I'll tell you why, because I'm with people I know that are bigger names, I'm so apologetic over text, even just being like,
Yeah.
even like happy birthday. I'm like, hey man, sorry to bother you. Happy birthday.
Norman's like, I'm ready to give you an opportunity of a lifetime, Jerry.
What was the
you
sketch
say it?
about?
All right.
You don't have to say if you don't want to.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It just makes me, it reminds me of how stupid I am. But, so I texted him because it was right when COVID hit. So the city is empty. There's no one driving, no one walking, nothing. It was the first time New York City was like vanilla sky.
Was this before or after Gotham when he this is after because you got the number that night probably.
This is all after.
Yeah, okay.
Because that was pre-COVID, all that shit.
Was that pre-COVID?
Yeah,
I was there that night.
I know.
Big
Very
night.
excited.
Yeah.
Big night. So I texted him, I go, I just bought a stick shift, an old classic car. And this is, this is Comedians in Cars heyday right here.
Right.
COVID, 2020. I just bought a classic car. I don't know how to drive stick. It's being shipped to me. What if I get it and you teach me stick in Times Square? We'll have the whole Times Square to ourselves. And that was it.
But to be honest, that's.
Well, I thought it could be I was kind of elbowing for a Comedians in Cars episode, but you teach me stick. But we have the whole Times Square. We got, Radio City behind it, Broadway behind us. We have the whole thing to ourselves. We don't have to pay for that.
Yes.
And you just
it's not Vanilla Sky.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't have been embarrassed. That's actually kind of cool.
That's not. And also, I see that.
It wasn't like, will you play the bee from the movie? Just would dress up like bees in my car.
Right. But yeah, that was it. And I don't know. I was trying to get on the show. I wanted to hang out with him more. So
because you opened for him
a couple times, yeah, 4 times. So it was a two-folder. It was maybe I'll get on Comedians in Cars. Maybe we can hang out again, even if I don't get on the show. I'm still hanging out with Jerry Seinfeld, and I'm learning how to drive a stick, and we're hanging out.
Let me ask you this, because all of us, you're a pretty big Seinfeld guy. Me and him are huge Seinfeld the show.
Yeah,
huge beyond
huge.
But as far as stand-up goes, from opening for him, was there any takeaways? Besides, you told me about the timing thing, where it's like you had to know you went back out. Which I actually understand. It's like you went out, you were like a couple minutes early or something, and then he was like, they're like, what the fuck you doing? Go back. You didn't finish your time.
I totally get it. I fucked up.
Right. Is there anything else you took away from it? Because it's such a fundamental thing.
Cerebral. Yeah.
It's like cerebral, but also like because he is like what would you call it, of like the 80s hack, but not 80s hack. It's like because of him
of what comedy is.
Exactly,
yeah.
the archetype. Yeah,
we
exactly.
do his voice to talk about comedy. What's the deal with whatever?
Right.
It's become a punchline a little bit, but it's definitely, he is stand-up. He's so big of a part of the art form.
And loves it now as much as he did probably. That I respect the most.
He's watching Chris D. He's like, I've never heard of this guy, but this is good. Like, he's sitting on YouTube watching unknown stand-ups to him.
But even now, his latest special, they were like, oh, he really liked Sebastian Maniscalco, and so. But from opening, were you like, not that, because you're almost a purist as well in certain regards, but. Were you like, oh, it made me respect the ins and outs and the
completely.
Completely.
I mean, he's such a pro, and like, he gave me some tips, and he was like, hey, and I know you're like a club guy or whatever, but he's like, you got to be bigger out there. And I'm like, I'm just a joke guy. I'd stand there and I'd tell jokes. He's like, that's crazy. This is a theater. It's a giant stage. You're taking up this much of it. It can get boring if you just stand there. And now every single set I do, I'm moving, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm over here, I'm over there, and it totally changed my whole performance style.
I like that you said to Seinfeld, nah, I'm a joke guy.
I did. I was like, because I grew up in like the world of, hey, you stand there, you tell your jokes. I'm not some fucking act out LA guy.
Yeah.
There's my Seinfeld
I'm
alarm.
gonna take a pill. He has a daily text to Seinfeld. It's 7 sketch ideas a week.
Well, that's I have the thing when I've sent I would have been fucked there because when I would get blacked out drunk and send a bunch of texts, I was big on that. I would delete them that night.
Oh, smart.
And I'd wake up to the responses and not totally know what.
Send them and then delete them.
I would send them and because it would be 4 in the morning and it's a weeknight, so I'm texting exes, I'm texting friends wild shit, and then I'd wake up the next morning so you had fun last night, or hey, what the fuck was that all about? And I'm like, I don't know what I gotta
because you delete it.
I would delete it.
I do the same thing.
I was trying to protect Tomorrow Ray.
Oh, Tomorrow Ray.
You worried about your fragile.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, if they delete from my phone, they'll delete from theirs. It's not a big deal. And then it was
that's almost worse because now you don't even know what you said.
That's what I'm saying. I can't talk my way out of it.
That's brutal.
I've done that. Because if you get a simple word answer back, you're like, fuck, what am I doing now?
Well, my girlfriend at the time knew, so when she would text me the next morning, she would text me all the screenshots. Just in case she forgot. And I was like, ugh, I did that for a reason.
Talk about cringe. You're reading them through a finger. It's so brutal.
Dude, we have to wrap up, but thank you so much for doing this.
Hey, that was fun.
This was a blast.
Thanks, Mark.
We learned so much.
Man, that flew by. Jeez.
It was fast, right?
Yeah.
Good conversationalists.
You guys can roll.
We can roll, baby.
Oh, yeah.
What? Anything you want to plug, Mark? Where can people find you?
Sure. When's this come out?
Thursday.
Okay.
Thursday.
Going to Australia for a big tour. So I'll see you there if you got any Australian listeners. And then I just announced it's on my Instagram, my website. Just put up a big theater tour cooking. So get tickets. They're selling like
hot something.
Hash browns. I mean, I wouldn't say hotcakes. They're not going that
theaters
fast.
are. That's a big.
That's a big jump.
That's a huge. This is the first theater tour.
Yeah, I guess I did like a half one to see if we could do it.
And
then it worked, so now we're doing this one.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's huge.
Fun stuff, but, this will be my peak, and then I'll be back down in the Chuckle Hut.
No, it'll be your peak, and one day you'll have a young comic sending you YouTube sketch ideas.
At 4 in the morning,
wait. Dude. Hell
That's
yeah.
when I know I've made it.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. Ray, what is your social media?
Yeah,
you have a theater tour as well, but you're just going to see a bunch of movies this week.
I'm going to see Sweeney Todd in a week. Yeah, that's my little theater tour. I'm going to see Sweeney Todd with my girlfriend. But yeah, you can catch me at Ray B. Killingham on all social media. I'm headlining my home club in Pittsburgh.
That's
I'm
a
going
big
back
one.
there this Sunday. Come on out to that.
Fun room.
Yeah, we need to sell some tickets. And you could catch our show every single Thursday. Sean is at Shawnee Time.
That is correct. And I'm at Shawnee Time, and I will be this weekend. I'll be in Saratoga at the Comedy Works. But our friend Michael has a studio. What's the social media for the studio, Mike?
There isn't.
There you go.
Well, hit up Mike.
It's a secret studio.
Where do people go for the site?
They can't.
Oh, they can't?
No, there's
All right,
nothing.
Just
Talk to
message me at Ray B. Killingham, and I'll set you up with Mike.
We'll be his agents. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody. Thanks again, Mark.
Thank you.